So good morning, good afternoon. From wherever you are watching me from, my name is Alani Remilekun Desmond. So we are done with our introduction to Python programming. So now we are entering into the full um, data science courses. Definitely, we will still continue using Python as our major programming language actually. So let me quickly introduce you to machine learning. So um, then we will get started with the main course. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is let's say a learning is any process by which a system improves a performance from experience. So machine learning is just the ability of a machine or a software to learn on its own based on certain instructions or certain data given to it. So, and a definition by Tom Mitchell in 1998 says that machine learning is the study of algorithms that improve their performances. Then they perform some task using experience from previous data. So that is that about machine learning. So, but we are not going to stop at this level in machine learning. But let's go from the foundation of data science itself, which we will start by learning um uh what numpy is. So we will start by with numpy. We will start with numpy as our major starting point of this tutorial. But why before that? So I'll be using Anaconda. So if you have not installed Anaconda before, you need to install Anaconda. Let me show you. So this is my own Anaconda. I've installed it. So in the Anaconda, there is a stuff that we'll use, which is what Jupyter Notebook. So this is this. So if you install Anaconda, it will automatically bring install Jupyter Notebook. So my Jupyter Notebook is opening. So from there, once it opens, then we will now we will now start with NumPy. So coding NumPy. So what really is NumPy? Um, NumPy is a Python library which is used for working with arrays, and it is a short form for what we call a numerical Python. So anything that has to do with numeric numerics in Python. So that's what um, NumPy is used for. So that's what NumPy is used for. So and certain there are certain learning things that we will be talking or will be researching about in NumPy. So we'll be talking about the basics of NumPy, which we cut across the introduction. So let me check if my NumPy has really no, it has not yet finished installing. So let me check. Uh, why is it like that? Okay, it is now loading. So yeah, so we will be talking about the basics of NumPy, which we will cover the introduction to NumPy. So we'll be talking about how you can create arrays. We talk about what are the indexing, how you can index an array, how you can slice array slicing, Then we're talking about different data types. We'll be covering issues like copy versus view. Then we're talking about arrays and shape. We're talking about array reshape. Then we're talking about array iteration. Then array joins, array split, array search, array sort, array filter. Then after that, we'll be talking about random in NumPy. What are the random introduction to random, data distribution, random permutation. Then we'll be talking about Seaborn module. Then we'll be talking about normal distribution. Then we will also be talking about binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, uniform distribution, logistic distribution as well, multilinear distribution, exponential distribution, chi-square, Rayleigh, Pareto distribution, zipped distribution as well. Then also we're talking about some U functions, which will be doing an introduction to U functions. Then how you can create functions, simple some, and we do some simple arithmetic. Then we're doing some random decimals too. Then we're doing some logs, some summation, products, differences, finding LCM, this is trigonometry, hyper, so, and set operations. So these are the various things that we'll be doing in with NumPy. So our Jupyter notebook is up. So let me go and navigate to where I want my stuff to be. So let me go to my folder. I hope you're following me. Okay, so um let me see. Sorry, let me see. Let me see. Tutorial. Okay, I have a lot of folders, so I'm trying to navigate there uh into it. So let me create a new file here. Okay, so let me create a new to create a new notebook in your directory from Jupyter, you come to new. If you come to new, you see this. So it shows you what new thing you want to do. So let me create a new folder. So let me name it data science numpy. So I've created a data science numpy folder. So in it, I can now create a notebook. So you can create a new terminal, a new console, and a new file. But let me create a new notebook from the um. So our notebook is loading. So this is the way it will load. Yep. So it shows you to select scanners. Then we'll do select. So this is it. So it's because I like that theme. That was why I like. So let's start from the main thing. So let's start from the basics. The introduction to NumPy. So what is NumPy? What is NumPy? Let's do. So this is a code cell. So if I want to create a new cell that is not code, we can do a markdown cell. That means I'm converting this code cell to markdown cell. So I can now type every anything I want to type. So what is NumPy? What is NumPy? Yeah, so NumPy is a Python library, as I've said earlier, that is used for working with arrays. Um, it also has functions for working in domain of linear algebra. Then you can also use it for Fourier transformation. matrices, and all sort of things too. So NumPy was created in 2005 by a person called Travis Elephant. And it is an open source project actually, and you can use it freely as you like. So the abbreviation NumPy is it stands for numerical Python. So why do we use NumPy? In Python, we have a list that serves the purpose of array, but they are slow to process. So we use NumPy to provide an array object that is up to 50 times faster than the traditional Python list. So that is one of the use cases of NumPy. So it is faster than your normal Python list. And definitely an array object in NumPy is called ND array. So it provides a lot of supporting functions that make the working with ND array very easy. And array are very frequently used in data science, where speed and resources are very important. So NumPy is faster than this, and that is one of the unique ability of NumPy. Um, so you may be wondering which language is NumPy written in. NumPy is a Python library, as I've said, and written in it is written in Python, right? It's written in Python. So most parts uh, that requires faster computation are written in C or C plus plus. So that is that. So how do you install NumPy? So the best way to do that is to download Anaconda, which I've showed you earlier. So if you go to Anaconda, Anaconda, so you down if you go to Anaconda, so you see download Anaconda distribution. So once you download it, so it will automatically come alongside NumPy. But if you want to independently install NumPy, you can do that using pip install NumPy. Let's go back to if you want to install NumPy, you can do pip install NumPy. So if you do that in your terminal, it will what? It will install. So I don't want to install it because I have already downloaded Anaconda, and it is already inbuilt in Anaconda. Please, if you have any question, let me know. Just push it to me, and I will answer it. Then, so after you have downloaded it, you will need to import it. So how do you import NumPy? So you import it using this import NumPy. So this is the command that we use to import. So if you type it in this cell, the reason we use Jupyter Notebook is because it is very fast, and it is specific tool that data scientists use for their day-to-day operations. So you don't need to use VS Code. You can use VS Code if you like, but one of our tool that we use is Jupyter Notebook. So it's a notebook that is faster for data science. So, and this is the place that we'll be writing all our codes. Then, so now that we have import NumPy, let's quickly write some some basic operations. Let's say, for example, we have a variable called ARR. So let's create a variable called ARR. ARR will be equal to um, let's say a list, right? Let's do a list, a list of numbers which are what? One, two, three, four, five. So if you now want to print this if you want to print this you do what from our Python from our Python tutorial you do print ARR. Hmm? Just hold on. So you do Python ARR. So you can now come here and click this play button. Can you see this play button? If you click it, so it brings you what? It brings you um the output. But this is just a list, right? This is not uh it's just a list. So you can also convert this one to a numpy array using the numpy function, which is numpy dot dot array. So if you still run it, it will still give you okay. So we are having error here. Why? Because it says here the built-in function or method object is not scriptable. So because we now want to convert this our list to a numpy array, we will have to put it in a what? In a what? In a bracket. So after that, we will now click run, and we have our list back. So you see that the difference between this list and this list are different, right? This one does not include any comma any longer because we have used the numpy array function to convert this list to a what? To a array. But this previous one um was just printed the list out. Can you see that is different, right? So that is one of the ways that we can use numpy. So and why did so we normally import numpy as np because np is just an alias, a short form for numpy. So what most people do is that they do import numpy as what? As np. So as a short form. So we are importing numpy as what? As an np. So each of these data science tools has an alias. So in case you are wondering why do we have an np, it's just that we just don't want to import numpy as numpy any longer because it will be too long. So that's why we just shorten it to be what? np. So any question from that? So now that we know that numpy is a package and we can refer to numpy as np, it is time for us to now start using our np. So we will still use our previous example, which is this. So I'm coming. Hold on. Let me get back to you. No, let me pause. Okay, so let's go back to where we stopped. Okay. So this so we said that you 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 can use np instead of numpy because you have imported np as what? As numpy. So instead of all using numpy everywhere in our program, so we just use np dot array. Then if you run this, you will see that we still have the same result as we have here. So that is that about that. So how do you now check to check your check your numpy version to check your numpy version. So to check your numpy version, you just do print np dot this underscore version, then you do that again, then you cover it. Then if you want to run, you can use shift and enter, it will run, or you do run from here. So um you see that our numpy version is 1.26.4. So yeah, that is that um about numpy version. So let's quickly go to another section in numpy, which was creating of array. So we're going to, so let's create um a new cell here, but let's change the cell to markdown. So let's do creating of array. So numpy numpy creating arrays. So if you run it, you see. So um numpy, as you have said, that is it's used to work with arrays, right? And what are arrays? Arrays are list of things, list of items. So the array objects in numpy is um called nd array. So we can create a numpy nd array object using the array function. So let's see how we do that. So we are going to use our previous examples too. So we do that using um this is a variable arr. Then let's change this to np. So np dot array, and then we pass in a list of numbers. If you check what I do, if you do it accordingly, you should not have error. So okay, it's saying np is not defined. So what you're going to do is that you do not run this cell. If you run this cell, it will go. So run that first cell, run it. So let's come back to, mind you, this is a live class, right? So I told you that you can ask questions. So if you ask me question, I would tend to answer you. So someone asked question, so I answered the question. So let's come back to our class. So we are using our previous example. We've created a variable which is arr, then we call in numpy, then we use the array function. We pass in the list of arrays that we want. Then if you want to print it, you can print array. Then also, if you want to check the type of array that you're printing, so you can also do print. You do type, you use the type function in Python to uh do that. So if you run this, if you click run, so it tells you, if first of all this first line prints out the array, which is here, right? While the second line, print type array, tells you what type of array this is. Mind you, because we have imputed numpy dot array in front of it, it tells us that this is a what is a numpy array. So this is just the beginner introduction to numpy. Then the type. So the type is a built-in Python function that tells us the type of object that is passed to it. So if you want to know the type of anything, you you can use the type function, as I've said earlier in it. So it is um so that is that. So let's talk about dimensions in array. So a dimension in array is one level of array depth, which can also be a nested array. And what is a nested array? A nested arrays are arrays that have arrays as their elements. A nested array is an array that has an array inside. So that is what we call a nested array. So an array has various type. We have zero dimension array, uh, which can be also called a scalar, and these are the elements in an array, which each value in the array is a zero dimension array, um, which is a zero dimension array. So we also have one dimension array. We have two dimensional array. We also have three dimensional array. So um let's try one dimension array. You know that an array has zero dimension array has its elements. An array that has zero dimension array has its elements as what we call a unidimensional or 1D array. So 1D array is an array that has only one only one dimension, only one dimension. So for example, this our example that we are using is a one dimensional array because it only has one dimension. We also have two dimensional arrays. What are two dimensional arrays? uh, Two dimensional arrays are arrays that has one dimension array, um and they has their element called a 2D array. So they are often used to represent a matrix or a second order tension. So to create um a two-dimensional array, we use our previous example array. Then in it we will also um include another list. Let's do another list. Yeah. So it will now be, let's say, 4, 5, 6. So we have two lists here. So if you print AR, if you can you see? So it says field element must be two or three tuple. So it got four. So the reason we are having this error is that if you are creating a two-dimensional array, the first must be equal to the second one. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. While this one has 1, 2, 3 columns. So you cannot do a two-dimensional array using different columns. So they must be equal. So for that, we will remove these two columns. So it should not be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6. So if you print it, you will see that okay. So we it said feed element must be two or triple. So we are having six. Okay, so what happened here was we need to include another a bigger list. So everything must be in a bigger list. So that is it. So here we are. Here we are. So we'll pause here to take questions. So if you have questions, you can let me know.